Welcome, everybody, to another week of Wealth Wisdom, where we're helping you build wealth and legacy.
Companies are like an organism trying to survive.
It's always a risk when you're investing in a company that's purely tied to someone's brand.
45% of Americans have gone into debt for a Disney trip. All right. Welcome back, boys. You guys ready for another week of Wealth Wisdom here? You guys ready to rock?
Absolutely.
Ready
All
to
right.
rock.
I'm gonna
Absolutely.
stop sharing this screen real quick. Let's get into it. All right. We had a big week this week in earnings, kicking off, and let's dive in real quick. Overall, narrative we're seeing in the news is big tech stocks are down, dropped this week since reported earnings. Even though they all beat earnings, they're all down. Bill, what are you thinking? What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, listen, you look at the revenue, the earnings, everything was up big. You know what I mean? Most of their segments and stuff like that of all their businesses were doing really well. It's just, again, going back to the AI spending, going back to all their CapEx, like everything just going up, up, up. And all these companies, they're just all afraid of being left behind. You
Yeah.
hear that saying it's worth the spending because it's even if we overspend, it's better than being left behind in these segments. So, but the thing is, they're making the money too. So it's not like it's, these companies are making money, and as long as these investments pay off, they'll be fine. But that's the one thing that people are just a little tentative of, right? They're saying all this AI spending, and they're seeing a fraction of it, right? 50 billion in spending is only leading to 3 billion in in revenue or something along those lines, right? You're hearing all these different lines, and that's the concern in a lot of these, especially these tech companies that have done, again, tremendously well over the past, couple years. So sometimes they just need a breather, let the market digest, right, some of this information, and that causes a pullback, right, which we're seeing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know why. I mean, I think why Wall Street's so kind of perturbed by the investment in AI, saying it's an overinvestment. I think you have to invest in future growth, and you can't be left behind, like you said. Eric, what are your thoughts, big takeaways from this week's earnings?
Yeah, like you said, tech's down as a whole, but there were a couple companies that were winners, and actually Amazon's about to be a winner today. Pre-market, they're up 7%. The other big winner, who was actually up after earnings, was Google, which they attributed that to their cloud computing growth, and then actually election spend.
Interesting.
I have a little data point for you guys.
The election.
Yeah, so cloud growth surged, and then their revenue for YouTube ads and search was up 12%.
Wow.
And I can't go on YouTube without getting election ads right now. So it's
one of the biggest election spending in history.
And then Amazon. Oh, I believe it. Yeah. And guess who's benefiting? Google, Facebook, Amazon, all those companies, right?
Yeah.
So they're well positioned, and they're funneling that money into AI investment next.
And that is only going to go up in future years too. No doubt.
For sure. That's interesting. I love when you bring the stats. You're sultan of data here.
You can just see him clicking back there, bringing up all this data that he loves.
So I think the cloud, wasn't it Amazon's? That was Amazon's story too, right? This week. It's like,
AWS was up. Yep.
So I mean that you can't, and I think even though things may be down, it's hard to bet against these companies. Not only they have incredible tech, they're light years ahead of the competition because of their future investment, but their brands are incredible too, right? And just election spending, right? Like you've got Instagram. I mean, everyone is glued to their phones. They're glued to the news. They're glued. It's just high season. We're 5 days away from election day. this is when everyone's dropping the big money and all tech is benefiting. So it's hard to bet against that. What about other? I know we were looking at Allstate, Caterpillar, those guys, mixed results there. What's the report from Allstate and Caterpillar? And what are you thinking there?
Yeah, Allstate, people were worried about the recent storms. Looks like it isn't as bad as it could have been. 1.2 billion in catastrophe losses. So that is a large increase, but them hiking up prices on the auto side and the home side has helped a lot, and they beat on earnings. Caterpillar did not do well with earnings. They were down after earnings. They are having slowing sales in the agriculture and construction side as far as machinery goes, but their CEO did report that they're seeing increased demand for the large equipment that's used for mining, and that's because of the increased demand for commodities that are going to be needed for this large energy transition.
Yeah, and I think they also had Latin America growth, like 5% reported this past quarter, which is positive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the blip.
I mean,
you know what I mean. The blip that happened. Sorry, the blip that happened there is, as we see a little, this rate cut, maybe some more, right? We'll. It takes a little while, right, for a company like Caterpillar to realize, you know what I mean, some of the stuff that's going on there. So,
right, Bill.
I think
we lost your camera.
Yeah, we lost your camera.
All right, you're back.
I just clicked on something. I think we're good. Sorry. Yeah, no, I think
it's like, oh no, that was going to be a viral clip too.
Yeah, right. No, but that's where I think Caterpillar, they're just one of those companies that they see when a rate cut happens, when things like that happen, it takes a little while, right, for a company to realize some of the benefits of something like that, because even with those even with the rates going down, these are still very big expenditures for companies to be making. So, and there's a little while before they get brought to the place where they need to go to work and things like that. So, still think they're in a good position with everything that's going on to benefit. It's just a matter of the time, right? You know what I mean? So they don't. It's not as instantaneous. And Allstate, it's interesting, right? I mean, I'm sure you guys can relate to your auto, your homeowners, you know what I mean? Anything like that, your umbrella policies, everything that people have and need. And I'm sure we've all seen a big increase, right, in our homeowners policies, in our auto, you know what I mean? Things like that. Insurance is really jumped up, to much to my dismay.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
Right? But
it's not great.
Yes, continue to go up. So I'm not surprised by seeing revenues really go up a lot in a company like Allstate. Yeah. What I am kind of interested in seeing is that they actually are, it's negatively impacting some of their renewals and things like that. So that's what I was interested to see. Their revenue is up, their profits are up, but actually some of the renewals and stuff like that had gone down a little bit. I'm wondering if that's going to cause a problem going forward for some of the insurance companies, but I don't know, because I'm not sure about the competition, right? Being there's not a lot of places to go. Right. I know I actually tried to requote my own insurance, and there wasn't a lot of, you know what I mean? I wasn't really able to get a better deal out there. I didn't probably do as much, as much work on it as I probably should have. And I think I'm going to look into it even more. But I was kind of amazed how there's not a lot of places to go, right, to maybe get some savings there.
Yeah, that's actually a great point.
They're in a good position.
It's a great point you bring up. And I'm surprised it hasn't been I don't think, unless I missed it, I don't think it's been a talking point from either side of the political aisle for this coming election. But you'd think, everyone's concerned about inflation and price gouging and everything. That I don't know how the insurance companies have escaped that conversation. Grocery stores have been targeted on that. Other big brands, producers, suppliers, they've all been talked about. potentially price gouging, taking advantage of this inflationary period, and that's come out a bit. And some, both Democrats and Republicans are highlighting some of that, but insurance companies, I don't think have been a part of the conversation. And you just made me think, like, it would be easy for a competitor to say, hey, maybe we, just to steal all the business, with a new progressive program, not progressive as a company, but a new innovative way to say reward maybe good drivers or healthy eating or something like that. I know this.
Yeah, I mean, you get, especially too with now the ability for them to digest data.
Yeah,
You know what I
right.
mean? And some of this AI to really look at it even closer, and kind of say, hey, yeah, this is a way we can really profit, right? You know what I mean? We can kind of undercut some of these companies, maybe make the underwriting process a little more simple, right, to digest for them, and get in a position to take advantage of some of these massive rate increases. I mean, I just feel like, you think like, oh, your churn goes down, and yet your profits, your revenue are still going up by 15%, right?
Yeah,
That's kind of you know what I mean? Like the ideal situation, you lose business and yet you still make more money. You don't hear that very often.
right.
And so, yeah, we wonder, what the competition, or if there's some things. I'm not a huge fan of government intervention, but if there's something that can be put in place to kind of help the consumer, because everyone needs insurance, right? I mean, most states require it. I know, we're in Massachusetts. You have to have insurance, right?
Mhm.
A homeowner, if you have a mortgage, you have to have insurance, right? So it's a thing that
Yeah.
if someone did come in and kind of help save, that would help a lot of people out,
Yeah.
because it is a major expense as well, right? I mean,
There's
um,
just
and that would be good to
yeah.
see.
That's exciting. That's the exciting part of talking about AI and the future of AI. There's so many applications, just like you highlighted. Um, with maybe taking in all the data, processing the data from just take driving as an example, right? You're a better driver, therefore you get rewarded. Maybe that's one small application use case. I know Zuck is, the tech giants were scorched this week from Wall Street, saying, hey, you guys are spending a little too much in CapEx and the future of AI. Vince, just give us some data points on how much they're spending this year, and what the outlook is there. And then we're going to play a clip of Zuck talking about what he believes and why he's doubling down.
Oh yeah, I actually don't have the data point on how much they're spending. Yeah, I'll
All right,
grab that
while you
though.
grab
But
that, let's
the one
roll
thing I
this real
did,
quick clip, and then we'll dive into
yeah,
Zuck. Because
go ahead.
all right, so let's roll it. Okay, he is spending a ton of money in CapEx for these glasses. But
I see you put it in the notes. Yeah.
Yeah. What are we thinking? So 2030, Zuck saying glass is going to be the next biggest computing platform. He is dumping tons of money in future investment, R&D, with the AI studio and what's it called? Not the AI, what's he call it?
Reality Labs.
Thanks, Bill.
Reality Labs
yeah.
for the Meta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Llama 2, he's all in on everything. Benz, give us the deets.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you, Justin, pulling the stat. The for the notes you put in here, capital expenditure rose year over year to 9.2 billion in the Reality Labs unit. Massive spend. And I believe Reality Labs is the one that focuses specifically on the Oculus, and then the augmented reality stuff too with their Ray-Bans. So that's maybe part of the spending that causes some concern for investors. The thing just to keep in mind, which is what Bill was talking about at the beginning, is he thinks it doesn't truly matter. Like, for instance, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Threads have 3.3 billion daily users. That's a 5% increase year over year. And then they received kind of that same benefit that Google received this past quarter, election spend on advertising. So price per ad increased 11% this year. So that adds a ton of advertising revenue, 39.9 billion for the third quarter. That's up 18.5%. But so that's the good side of it. Yeah, the bad side might be, hey, yeah, Facebook's spending a little too much on their other stuff. I personally don't see the Oculus as a great investment. I know what the strategy is, right? The strategy is own the hardware and the software, like Apple has with iPhone and then the software associated with it, like Google has with their phones and software, like Tesla has with their cars and the software associated with it. Own all the verticals, right? That's the method here. But I don't necessarily see the Oculus as the next big thing.
Well, have you seen the
However,
the Orions are very interesting.
No. Yeah.
Or you guys just jumping in that?
Yeah, I was gonna say, well, I want to know what your opinion is. I do think the augmented reality versus total virtual reality will be a bigger hit. And I know you had a story when you were talking about being in a grocery store with your headphones.
Well,
right?
I think I think it's a little rude, but it's becoming norm. Where people are just, in checkout and they've got earbuds in there, whether they're talking or not, it's just kind of like, it's just there. It's part of their body. I think that is interesting. I think Apple's coming out with a new AirPod that will enhance audio sounds, right? So it kind of act like a hearing aid, which is very interesting application. I'm surprised, it took this long to do, but, think about, if you watch Iron Man, like I think Iron Man 1 or no, Iron Man 2 maybe, and I'm watching it with my son right now. He's all into Iron Man and Marvel, but it's truly remarkable, potential where you can just be wearing sunglasses. They look normal because it's a societal norm to wear sunglasses all the time, but you can wear those inside and out. You already have reactive dimming technology in sunglasses. You could imagine that. So they look like eyeglasses when you walk inside. You're at the grocery store, it's scanning, it's analyzing the data, what you're looking at. Maybe it's saying, hey, you're looking at the soup aisle. It tells you exactly what kinds of soup you should be buying for your metabolism, your body type. It could be giving you, hey, let's stay out of the middle zone of the grocery store. We know it's not healthy. It could be, all right, rerouting you, finding the perfect route for your shopping list. Like, there's a ton of stuff that can go in, and no one even knows you're interacting with your computer, right? Like, so you have your own AI, like a Jasper. I think that's what they call it with Tony Stark. I think it's remarkable potential.
Yeah,
that would be really cool.
I'm with you. I think it's a great use case. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I think that'd be cool too. And I think the best part of the like you're saying, the full on virtual reality. I mean, I'm not really sure. Maybe I'm just too dumb to maybe like understand, you know what I mean? How that would benefit mainstream.
I don't see it either.
But the augmented reality where you can get in and out, right, really quickly. So just think with your Apple headphones, you can be in the store, but if someone goes to talk to you, one quick click, and you're in a, you know what I mean? Like whatever podcast you're listening to, whatever music you're listening to is turned off, and you can fully communicate in a real setting, right? A real life setting. That's where I think these glasses, right, are the same thing, because everything's normal except, you know what I mean, what you have, what's going on, which only you see. And then if you ever want to turn it off because someone wants to interact with you, quick click, right? Quick tap of the finger, and you're in reality again. You know what I mean? So I think that's a great way in which we get all the benefits, right, of everything that's going on in terms of the scanning and the intelligence and all that stuff that it's feeding us. But at the same time, we can get right back into a normal life setting, from 1995, right, or something like that in 2 seconds, right? So that's where I think mainstream, right?
Totally.
When you think of profits, how you hit the mainstream, that's where I think the huge benefit will be.
Definitely. Yeah, everyday life. I agree with both of you guys.
Whereas the the virtual reality stuff, I don't think that's I don't know. Some people like it, you know what I mean? But is that gonna hit the mainstream? And that's where you need it to be, right? To be profitable, right? You know what I
Okay,
mean? That's what
so
we think from a business sense.
I'm going to push you guys. I think there's going to be two use cases, right? What you just said, I agree with completely. You got the it's enabled into your everyday, right? And I think the complete virtual reality is going to have a separate place. It's going to be at work and it's going to be in the home. And here's why. I think if you guys are a secret Star Trek nerd like I was back in elementary school, you guys remember the holodeck? Okay. You would walk into this holodeck and it could be anything you wanted for training situations in a safe environment. It would turn into whatever you needed it to be to practice. It could be like a combat zone, and you're doing drills. It could be a language learning place, but this was real. So now we're not going to build the holodeck. It's just going to be something you put on your face. And you will, like we do Zoom calls. Those are so normal. We're all recording today virtually from different locations. You're just going to put a thing on your head. And instead of being like viewing us together on our computers, we will be in the same room virtually, communicating, talking to each other as if we're in the same exact room. Our physical bodies will be in remote situations, and you'll just be transported into the same conference room for meetings. What do you think? I don't know. Call me crazy. Vince, you got a crazy.
My
I
only
think in
thing
20
is the setup of
Go
that.
ahead, Bill.
I don't think it's a glass situation. I think it's a situation where you have like cameras set up in whatever room you're in, and it kind of like gives you that sense because I don't think people want to wear like helmets of any kind. But if you get in a situation where you set up 6 cameras, all right, and now all of a sudden, and those cameras can kind of fill in the spots, right? That maybe you don't necessarily see, but so that it creates that virtual environment. I think that's what's going to happen as opposed, again, to the virtual reality headsets. I just don't, something about the headset, the helmet. I mean, even me wearing this big headset and microphone, it's a little
Yeah,
uncomfortable, right? I can do it for an hour or something like that, but it's not something I want on all the time. Never mind something over my eyes. You know what I mean? Things along those lines. So I see it more as some type of camera setup that gives you the same thing, but allows your face and things like that to be a little more free. That's what I picture anyway. I could be completely off by that, and maybe it's just easier with the virtual headset to kind of do that anywhere. But I think if you can get when you want to just be in a static environment, that camera setup I think would be more appealing to me anyway.
sure. Ben's is shaking his head.
I just think like, well, I mean, that's one thing, right? Maybe the technology isn't there; it's too uncomfortable, yada yada. But there's, if it improves in the future, there's ways around that. Yeah, my, you know, why I don't think the metaverse is the next big thing is just like because human beings are so social, we're inherently social. And a big part of that is being around people, like seeing their facial expressions, physical touch, being near somebody. Why are you can ask the same thing. Why are companies forcing employees to go back to the office? They don't love the fully remote work. Why do students have a better learning experience in the classroom versus, you know, at home? Like we had that experiment with the pandemic. So that's why I think the augmented reality is probably the next big thing. That's why I think the Ray-Bans thing is great for Facebook. I don't see the metaverse as being the next thing.
I hear you. I mean, speaking, I just here at home, we just had an amazing event last week with all our clients, and we had over 60 amazing clients come in from all over New England, and there was nothing to replace that, right? Being in person with all of them, getting to introduce each of them to one another, it can't beat in person. I agree.
Oh yeah, it was so awesome to see everybody. It was great, really I mean, like I was saying before, really humbling. You know what I mean? The fact that so many people traveled from so far to come in and spend an evening, and it was great to talk to. You know what I mean? Catch up, not just over a phone call or something like that, but actually sit in person. Share a little food and drink, and you know what I mean, and just touch base and just a social setting, not having to talk business every second. You know what I mean? Was awesome, and it's something that I want to obviously continue to keep doing, and um, it was just a really great event overall.
Yeah. Yeah, it was awesome. One thing I was talking to some of our clients, and just asking them what other events they wanted to do. Whether it be I think someone said a whiskey tasting, just fun, different experiences.
Cool.
And I loved that because I think it's through experience that you can really build relationships, like quickly, and bringing people together like that is awesome. And then it kind of, we started talking about healthy, relation experiences. And it's got me thinking like how health is truly wealth, right? So like we talk a lot about wealth and financial wealth on this show, and how health right now is a hot topic throughout America, and it's partly because of politics it's being brought up, but it is a real thing. And what do you I just wanted to get your thoughts real quick today on the show, like health is wealth. Just react to that, Eric. What are your thoughts on hosting healthy events for clients and baking that into our ethos?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta, I guess, live it, right? Practice what you preach, that kind of stuff. So if we can do something fun with the clients that's also beneficial,
Yeah.
hey, great. I actually was looking up because I saw you put this topic into the podcast. I was looking up, is it correlation that people who have a healthy lifestyle are also more productive at work, or is it a causation thing where, hey, I work out a lot and gets my mind right and get in and I'm really productive in work and in life? And the science says it's a mix of both. Either way, like, get out, get healthy, get your mind right, allows you to do all tons of great things. And it doesn't need to be anything crazy. A lot of it's just, doing something with other people.
Socially, like there's mental health, there's physical health, and I think a lot of that translates to financial success, which is why I think it's relevant for the show and what we do at Fox Hill. But there's even stats, like employees who exercise regularly, 15% more likely to have higher job performance than those who don't. It's like you want to change your financial health.
Have you guys noticed my performance has been terrible because I haven't been working out?
Yes, we have. Anyway, no, I'm just kidding. No, but yeah, no, I mean, it's, I know for me, like, when I get a good workout in the morning, I mean, I'm just feeling so much better throughout the day. I have more energy in the afternoon. I have more, you know what I mean? More energy later in the day, I think is a big thing too. You just don't have that drag effect
Yeah.
that some days you get. And, yeah, it makes all the difference in the world. And couple the fact that it cuts down on sickness, and when you are sick you usually have a shortened duration, right, of how sick you are. And just even like little ailments. I mean, I know when I hurt my back like a year ago, it was very detrimental. I couldn't work out, at least for a little bit, while I was kind of healing up, and then obviously jumped into the rehab and everything like that. But for a week or two, I was miserable. Mentally, I was miserable physically, and then work, I was having a hard time doing work because it was, my mind seemed to be thinking about that more than what I had going on. So, yeah, keeping yourself in shape and mobile and all those things it's so beneficial for your mental outlook and getting you know what I mean, in a position to succeed at work. So the fact that there's a huge correlation between working out and productivity. That I don't doubt that for 1 second.
Yeah, and you're seeing that more.
Hey,
Yeah.
Justin, I know you've been doing the two workouts a day thing. Have you felt like that's too much, or you felt it is beneficial to you? Like
So I tried
what have you
75
noticed in
hard this
doing
week.
that?
I'm 15 days left on that. I think it is a little too much. If I'm, whatever. I think it's a fantastic challenge if you're looking to get out of a rut or like just really amp up your mental and physical well-being. I think it's a great challenge. Like I think habits really important in living a healthy life. And so if you can it definitely helps you establish a really good habit and good rhythm to your health. Kind of like baking that into your everyday lifestyle. And there's been, I've learned a lot there, but I think in the true spirit of the 75 hard, it is truly hard. It's been like my Jesse Itzler talks about his misogi, which is like a big annual challenge. It's been my misogi for this year, and this is the second time I've tried to complete it. So the first time I failed because you can't drink either. And first time I tried it was dry January leading into ski season, and it was just like the ritual of having a beer after skiing, après beer, just overpowered. It overpowered me, so I couldn't do it. This time I'm gonna finish.
That post mountain beer, right?
This time I'm gonna finish. I've got 15 days left. I'm celebrating my dad's birthday tonight, but I'm still not gonna drink, and like it's been fine. But yeah, I think it is a little. So I pivoted halfway through, so I wasn't doing a full hard. I would do one hard workout in the morning, kick off my day, which I love, like just like Bill.
So 45 minutes plus, right? That's the
yeah.
Right, 2 45-minute workouts is what it consists of.
You're supposed to do two hard 45-minute workouts. I have my brother-in-law has a company called One Gym out in Buffalo, and he gives me their daily workouts. Just knowing what I'm going to do, I don't have to think about that. I wake up and I just do whatever is on the app, which is awesome. So just have that like pre-scheduled in that just is a one less hurdle you have to overcome every day. But the second workout, I kind of downgraded a little bit to like going for a brisk walk with my dog, like after dinner and with the kids, right? So for me, like 3 kids, like big job, like it's just like a lot. And I was like, how do I bake this into all the things I have to do? So I'm like, cool, if I can be a good dad, take the dog for a walk and get health and like be a good role model, let's do all that together. So maybe I'll strap on a weight vest if I want to feel extra that day. But it wasn't like getting on the squat rack and doing hard, heavy lifts on that second every day. But
no big
right.
No big Tabata workout.
No, right,
evening,
right. No hits. Yeah. So like the morning has been great. And overall, like you have to follow a diet. The other cool part of the challenge, I would encourage all listeners to do this, is the reading 10 minutes a day. I don't know how much you guys read. I can get so busy with work and life that like reading kind of stops. But what I've learned, you have to do 10 minutes every day, and just doing 10 minutes of reading usually expands into like a 30-minute session, or I got to get through the rest of this chapter. So you keep going. Maybe it's an hour of reading, burning through books. And it's the books that if you're reading the right books, like for me, they're all related to work. So that just powers, that's like a flywheel effect. Like it powers what I'm doing during the day. I become more productive, more creative in my work. And then that, feeds back into the nighttime reading routine, which has been great. So it's kind of like trying to establish those flywheels of success in your life is how I view it. But
so you're doing the reading too at night more, or first thing in the morning?
First thing in the morning, I can't do it. I like for me, sometimes I do. That's not true, but usually I grab a cup of coffee first thing. I throw it down, a couple shots of espresso, is what I do. And then I'll drink some water and I'll get into the gym right away, get the workout done, come back out, say hi to the kids, make them breakfast, everyone eats, and then I go to work. So the reading doesn't always happen in the morning, but like, after the kids are put to bed, before turning on a show, like I'll say I gotta get some reading in. So
yeah, okay. No, I was just wondering where you see the best time, right? You know what I mean? I've heard different things. Some people say like I wake up and then that's when I try to do it, because it's calm, it's quiet, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. So I'm interested when the best time is. I usually just do a little bit before bed, but sometimes I don't, just because I'm gassed by the end of the night, and I'm ready to fall asleep. So
totally, yeah.
Seeing where you.
Yeah, I would love to know what you guys do, like your daily routines of like how are you balancing everything. That I think that's something to consider. How if you find success, if you find financial success in life, I think often like finding that perfect week is important. How do you like, Eric? Do you bake fitness into your life, or like what are you doing right now? I know you're amping up for a new baby soon and getting that, but
yeah, there's been a lot less fitness in my life recently. I used to be pretty consistent, but I haven't even worked out in like a month. I just get up, shower, go to work.
Why? Do you feel like you don't have the time
and then at night
to do the workout?
No, I mean, no.
You're just not thinking about it.
You just got to make it a priority, right? That's not, that's just, I think once, we have done a lot of like home renovation and painting and, baby showers and whatever, all this stuff. So that's kind of winding down as we get nearer to the birth in a couple of months. So I think I will have a lot more time to focus on that stuff. But yeah, right now it's just work and get home, watch some basketball, read something, go to bed, get up, do it again. So yeah,
do you think having
I need a do you think
having a personal trainer, like someone to say, hey, this is going to be your daily routine, your workout, your like how we're going to design your week, right? Like, because there's also data around like using your energy the best way possible throughout the day. Having someone like that, would that be helpful for you? What you eat, your nutrition.
Easily. Yeah, easily. Like when I was in college, I would get up at like,
right, you're a student athlete,
5:45 for morning practice because I was doing it with other people and it was coached. And then when I did CrossFit for like a year and a half, I always showed up to that. So yeah, having a coach, having someone to motivate you, doing it with other people,
accountability,
that actually gets you into the gym.
Just like the emotional piece alone, I feel like just everyone's doing it. Let's go. The coach is waiting for you. Let's go. Right. It's like those are huge pieces of it.
Maybe if I had my Oculus and I went into the metaverse, I could work out with other people and that would motivate me more, right?
Yeah, virtual Peloton.
Oh, I have a question for you guys, by the way. Yeah. What are you guys Halloween people? Did you do anything fun last night?
That's a great. I just wanted to. I can't help but say this. This is, but having the personal trainer is truly the equivalent of having a financial advisor. It's amazing the parallels. Right.
Oh, there you go.
Bill, what did you do for Halloween last night? Is that what?
Oh yeah, no, we we split up a little bit. My oldest went with a group of her friends. I went out with her. And then the other three, my wife went with. There was my second oldest in her group of her friends live in the same area. You know what I mean? So my wife, and it was a little easier to bring a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old in that area where they went. So she went with them. Oddly enough, the 2-year-old wanted to run around the whole night. The 5-year-old actually just after a couple houses was like, oh, I'm cool with the carriage. You know what I mean? It kind of pushed me around.
Yeah.
So my wife had fun with that. But yeah, no, overall, I think everybody had a great time. You know what I mean? The kids all had a great time and everything like that. So the adults had a good time too, So so
Yeah.
overall it was fun. But yeah, I mean, I just want to go back to working out. I mean, you either, people always say like, motivation, right? Do you get a personal trainer to motivate you?
Mm.
Do you get, do you have the motivation? Does motivation matter, right? It's not really, you're never going to be motivated every day. Even if you have a personal trainer, they're not necessarily going to motivate you. Do you have the
It's
discipline
discipline.
just to get it done,
Nope.
right? So it's like, even if you're working out and you're working out at 20%, that's better than, 20% of something is better than 0% of,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Anything. So you got to have that discipline. I think that's one thing about having a financial advisor, just like having a personal trainer to kind of help with that discipline to make, you know what I mean? Make sure that happens is that, when you have a financial advisor, you do have someone you have to bounce something off, right? You do have to, when you say, oh, I want to do this or I want to do that, and you can then bounce your idea off. Maybe there's a better solution, right? That financial advisor can provide
Yep.
for you, which I've seen countless occasions, right? People think of doing something, I kind of talk them through it, and all of a sudden it's like, wow, I just saved you,
Thousands.
thousands and thousands of dollars just by you're still accomplishing a goal, but we tweaked it just a little bit, right? To improve the tax situation or improve how the distribution of the funds went, which, pays for the fees and everything like that in spades, right? So that's the thing is I think having that person who can help provide that discipline for you. Again, not still accomplishing what you want to do,
Yep.
still doing what you want to do with your money, but kind of giving you that extra idea, giving you that extra or that different outlook, right? Still accomplishing the same goal, but just doing it in a more efficient manner. Very similar to the physical trainer, right? You can work out by yourself, but maybe you're taking an extra 15 seconds in between each set, or you know what I mean, or something like that, and you're not getting the benefit. I think that's very similar
Yeah.
to a financial advisor. You still might be doing all the right stuff, but then all of a sudden, you know what I mean? Few small things, right? I mean, it only takes the whole adage, right, where water boils at a certain temperature, right? It needs to get there to boil. If it's 1 degree less,
Yeah.
it's not going to boil. If it's not boiling, and you don't get to achieve what you need. So uh, that's similar to a financial advisor. They're going to get you to where you need to go, and that's why it's so important, and why constantly I'm having conversations with clients, and I'm doing little things, right, that end up having huge benefits, and that's just on a small scale. That never mind on the big scale of things, but
Mhm.
those little things I feel like are really where people get a huge benefit from.
That's a great point. I love that analogy. The boiling water analogy. It's just like, I think often, have you heard that, like, the the fly getting out of the room analogy? You guys heard that?
No, 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 I haven't.
Okay,
What's
so
that one?
just think about in the summertime and you got a fly in your house, like we all have at times, and it wants to get
Mhm.
back out, right? Its goal is to actually get outside. It's like it doesn't want to be in your house, but it can't, because so like it keeps banging its head against this glass window, thinking that's the way out, right? And it's just boom, boom, boom. And most oftentimes it dies, right? Because it's banged its head so many times up against the glass, it just kind of gone and falls down. Uh, and the problem is right to like 2 inches to the left is an open window that it can't see, right? So if it had a coach say, hey, just fly a little to the left, you're going to get out and soar to new heights.
Mhm.
And it's right in front of you. And so oftentimes, like that's true in all our lives. You're just banging your head against a solution. And you're like, I can't figure it out. It could be in your career, it could be in investing, it could be in physical or mental health or whatever it is, like relationships. And sometimes it's that coach, that mentor come along and say, hey, just look at it slightly different. And you can get out
Yeah,
that window and new
Yep.
heights.
Yep. Yep. With financial, you know what I mean? With a financial advisor, your asset allocation, there's so many little things that go into it, that can completely change your trajectory, right, of your financial life. And that's the thing, right? It can be right in front of you, but you know what I mean? You just don't have those little tidbits of information that
Right.
can really propel you right to a next level. So that's why it's so important.
So important. It's a great shortcut. Just like reading the right books are a shortcut, like finding that right financial advisor, the right mentor, the right physical trainer, nutritionist, right? Who knows, they've been there before, right? They've made the mistakes. They know what to do. It's a shortcut in life. Like, shortcuts are all around. You don't have to go through the hard way. You can, like, cool, I'm going to pay for this coach. Shortcut. Right? Pay for this financial advisor.
Yeah.
Shortcut. It's just, great physical trainer. It's amazing. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keeps you lean and efficient.
Right.
It's the way you want to be healthy. That's the way you want to be health-wise. It's the way you want to be financially,
Yep.
right? Lean and efficient. So
yeah, lately it's like how I think about like flywheels. Like what action is going to feed into this next action that I need to hit? Like going to feed this, and it's just all positive feedback loop, right? Just keep going. Anyway, where are we? I think. Eric, you're always so quiet on these shows. You gotta. So, what are you thinking? I know you're thinking big stuff over there.
Sorry.
Oh
no. I mean, I just thought you guys. I didn't want to say the same thing. I thought you guys answered that like perfectly.
All right, so we're.
He's in the Eric verse.
Yeah, just to wrap up this week, November 1st, we're recording. We have 5 days into the election. I'm not going to ask about election odds. What I am on the next, I think the 9th, 4 days after the election, the Fed meets over under right now on 25 basis point cut.
I think it's 25. What do you think?
Bill, what do you think?
Bill?
What do I think? I think it's going to be a 25 basis point cut. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. The inflation did creep up a little bit, right? Even after this latest 50 point basis cut, but it is, it just seems like it's inevitable, right? Because they don't want to get. They were so behind with all the, you know what I mean, the rate increases, right? So now at this point they say, oh, we don't want to be behind and cause us harm by not cutting. So I do think they're going to do it. I don't necessarily. I don't know. I don't know if it's necessarily the right move. It's a tough call. The economy's still been humming along, even with this week. With the stock market maybe taking a little bit of a dip this week, but the stock market has been doing well. Employment has been doing well. So that's why I'm not. If we saw a major dip in employment, then I would be, hey, you know what I mean? I'd be more apt to push for a rate cut. In the meantime, I would rather a wait and see approach, right, with rates. But I just think that
I think they cut.
From everything they've talked about, I think they are gonna do a 25 point basis cut. I just don't know if I necessarily feel it's the right move at this time. In fact, I would tend to say I would prefer them to wait and see. But in this case, I'd actually rather them to be a little behind than in front of, just because inflation has been, I mean, it is on the mind of every consumer in the country, right? Everybody has been affected by it. Talking about the grocery store, talking about insurance, right? You know what I mean? Like getting that insurance bill, it's gone up astronomically. All those things, right, have gone up so much. The stuff that you're spending every day, every year, has gone up so much in the last couple of years that's where that's what I'm most concerned about. And a rate cut, the only thing that does, you know what I mean? the only thing it can do, right, it either keeps it the same or it spurs it up even more. And a rate cut is good. You know what I mean? It's never going to like cut inflation, right? So that's why I would kind of like, excuse me, like to see a little more data come out. And I wouldn't mind being a little behind the curve on a rate cut, especially with all the things we're seeing that seem to be doing pretty well in the economy. That's where I would like, that's what I would like them to do, but I don't see it happening. I see a rate cut coming up this November 9th.
We'll see.
Yep. Yeah, the Fed's doing what they need to do. I saw an article that came out a couple days ago that job openings fell to their lowest level since January 2021. And hey, that's the Fed taking money out of the system, increasing efficiencies. This is what we want to see. But now as interest rates start to come down, you'll see those job openings pick back up. And I think ultimately that's a good thing. And I think they're right on schedule.
So that's the job openings, but actual employment, how does that look in comparison to
it's still at historic lows.
Okay.
But the reason unemployment's ticked up is now all these people who are going to be graduating soon, right? They're looking for jobs. Anecdotally, my younger brother has applied to dozens of jobs. Big tech, any of those companies, not hearing from them at all. I don't know if, a Providence College degree is a great degree, but yeah, it doesn't really hear back. And I do think it's this story right here, the fact that job openings are at their lowest. So unless more opportunities come out there, you're going to see that unemployment rate tick up.
That's interesting.
Okay, so yeah, maybe now is time. The time is now, right, for it. So
yeah. Well, we'll see. November 9th. We'll see. We're recording it. We'll talk about it more in depth next week. Until then, guys.
Yeah, and then we'll get into politics.
We're skipping over politics this show.
It's the only way to go viral.
Can't wait to have a good political conversation.
Woo!
Yeah. Come on.
All right, guys. Great seeing you guys again. We'll see you soon.
All right. Have a good one.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.